live back on Ongoing Sports Talk channel. And I'm here to talk about the first thing I want to talk about is the Colorado Buffaloes going up against the Texas Tech Red Raiders on tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm gonna tell you one thing: it's great to just have a earlier game rather than 10 o'clock at night Eastern Standard Time, where you're up around 12 midnight. This one is gonna be at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and but I think this is gonna be a very important game for both teams. But these are conference games. Texas Tech overall record is 6-3. Colorado's record is 6-2, and Texas Tech conference record is 5-2, if I'm not mistaken, and they are or no, they might be 4-2. 4-2. Colorado is 4-1, so they're up on Texas Tech. So it's important for both teams this game, but especially for Colorado because they want to keep that winning streak going. They want to be in contention for possibly a college, a conference championship opportunity. By Texas Tech beating Iowa State on last weekend, that put that made things pretty interesting, and it caused Colorado to have a chance because now Arizona State, I mean Iowa State. I'm sorry, Iowa State they have one loss in the conference now as well as Colorado. So if Colorado can just keep the winning streak going, um, who knows what's going to happen from there. Now, one thing is that is BYU. They're still undefeated. They need to lose a game or two, so that gives Colorado a chance. They're the only ones in the conference that's undefeated, so they just need to get some losses. They need to lose to somebody. So, but Colorado has 4 games left. They have this game tomorrow against Texas Tech. They have Utah. They have Kansas, and they have Oklahoma State. Now, if they beat Texas Tech tomorrow, that would give them a great opportunity to win it out because me personally, I feel like Texas Tech possibly could be the hardest team left for Colorado to play. Utah's not that good. Kansas is struggling. Oklahoma State they haven't even won a conference game, um, and they were top 25 preseason rankings. Utah was top 25 preseason rankings, and I think maybe even Kansas was. And that's the reason why I don't put a whole lot of stock in the preseason top 25. I know that they want to do it so that it can be something for fans and the media and people to look at, but it really doesn't mean anything because you haven't played any games. And I really don't like I don't like the preseason rankings anyway, to be perfectly truthfully honest, because it really doesn't mean anything because you haven't played any games, you haven't done anything. So why even be ranked? But I know they have to do it. Um, it's just what it is. That's how people get excited about the upcoming season for football, basketball. I will be talking about Duke basketball a little bit as well on here, but mainly I just want to share my thoughts on the Colorado Texas Tech game. Again, I think this is going to be a very intriguing game. I think this game is important for both teams, but especially for Colorado because they want to keep the winning streak going. And so I am excited about Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes. I've been following Coach Prime ever since he was at Jackson State, and I'm not the biggest college football. I'm more of a college basketball. But since Coach Prime has gone to Jackson State, I've been following, and then he moved over to Colorado. So now I've been following him to Colorado. So if nothing else, I want them to do well. I want them to succeed, and I think they're already bowl eligible. They coming off of a bye week. I think the bye week was timely because they had guys that had gotten kind of dinged up from the last game. They had time to heal up and rest and regroup and get ready for Texas Tech. Now, this is not going to be an easy game for Colorado. Texas Tech is a formidable opponent. They did beat Iowa State, as I mentioned before. I think it was 23-22. I mean, they beat them by 1 point, but they still got the dub. So it shows you that they are a formidable team. I'm pretty sure that Colorado is not going to take this game for granted because they still got to, even though they bowl eligible, they still want to keep that winning streak going. As Coach Prom said, they have lofty goals this year. And just because they won 6 games doesn't mean that they want to stop there. They want to get to the best bowl that they can get to. And like I said before, if they beat Texas Tech on tomorrow, they just have 3 more games left in the conference, and each one of those games are doable. They are doable for Colorado to get the dub. Now let's talk about Texas Tech for a moment. I got some stats and a little bit of stats on the Texas Tech and Iowa State game. On the total yards, total offensive yards, Texas Tech had 366. Iowa State had 432. The passing, Texas Tech had 237, and Iowa State had 299. Rushing, Texas Tech had 129, and Iowa State had 133. First downs, Texas Tech had 21, Iowa State 23 first downs. Penalties, Texas Tech was 10 for 84 yards. Iowa State was 8 for 59 yards. Texas Tech did not have any fumbles. They did cause a fumble on the Iowa State side. Interceptions thrown. Texas Tech quarterback did throw 2 interceptions. Iowa State quarterback threw for 1 interception. Time of possession was quite different. Texas Tech time of possession was 25 minutes 43. Iowa State was 34 minutes 16. Now, usually the team that has a greater difference of time of possession usually are the team that wins the game. But there was a couple of turnovers um, that Iowa State committed, an interception and then a fumble. So that might have made the difference in that 1 point game. Now let's talk about Texas Tech players, some of their valuable players, so to speak. They have a quarterback. Last name is Morton. Morton was 21 of 40 for 237, 2 TDs and 2 interceptions in this game. They have a guy named Taj Brooks. He is their star back. He had 25 carries for 122 yards. I don't get into politics on here. I don't want to even get into the politics. I'm here to talk about sports. Um, I mean, Trump won anyway, so it is what it is for that. Now the Commanders season. What I think about the Commanders season, man, I am elated. Um, Good to see you, JB. Liddy, good to see you. But yeah, JB, I am elated about the Commanders season thus far. It's been a long time since Washington has been in this position at this time of the year. Um, For a change, they have a winning record. I'm not even sure what the record was this time last year, but I don't think it was a winning record. So I like Jaden Daniels. I think he's come in and just blossom. I mean, he's been really good for a rookie quarterback. I mean, I know he's a Heisman Trophy winner at LSU, but he's done a great job. I mean, they've been able to really, the offense coordinating and all that. They've just done a great job and getting him comfortable and getting him confident. The guy can throw the ball. The guy can run. The guy he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He makes good decisions. Um, I like what I see with the Commanders thus far. So yeah, uh, positive, positive, positive. All right, and so now for Texas Tech, again, as I mentioned, they do have a running back, Taj Brooks. He is their star running back. He is their star running back. In all of the last 5 games, I was checking his stats, and he's ran over 100 yards every one of those games. He's run over 100 yards. So uh, Colorado's defense is going to be they're going to need to be sharp on the defense on the run. They're going to try to run the ball. They're going to try to get him established early. I'm pretty sure of that. Morton, the quarterback, he's decent. He's decent. He's not as good as Shador, but he's a decent quarterback. And but their star back is Taj Brooks. Um, he's he's done well. I'm pretty sure he'll probably end up going into the NFL. And when you really look at this Big 12 conference, this is not the first time that Colorado's facing a formidable running back. Pretty much all of the games that they have had in the conference, they've had to face some really good running backs. So it's not going to be the first time for the defense to have to go up against and face a good running attack. Um, Not first time, you know, dealing with a decent quarterback. So I really think that the defense is going to be ready to show up and show out. They're going to have to be sharp. Um, and then on the offensive end, as far as Colorado, um, they just got to do their thing. They just got to mix it up, make sure that not only passing the ball, but that they can establish their running game. Colorado lately has been able to average around 100 yards rushing, and when they do, as I mentioned in previous times, when they run at least 100 yards in a game, they win the game because they have a vulnerable quarterback, probably one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, Shador Sanders. Um, when you have a quarterback like his caliber, and then you can run the ball and get that established, that makes you very hard to defend, very hard to beat. And Colorado's been very good when they are able to run the ball decently. They don't have to be, stellar, but they need to be able to run the ball and throw, of course, but need to be able to mix it up, not just be one dimensional. And I believe that they will be able to do that. I really do. I believe that they will be able to do that. Um, what else about Texas Tech? They do have a formidable receiving core. They have a guy named Josh Kelly. He's a formidable receiver. Um, he actually had eight. He was 8 for 127 in that game against Iowa State. So he's a good receiver. They also have a guy named Caleb Douglas, but I believe Josh Kelly is kind of like their main guy, and he had 2 TDs in that game as well. So the defense is just gonna have to be um, on point. They have to be sharp and ready to go. They also have a let me see, on the defensive end for Texas Tech, they got a guy named Jacob Rodriguez who I've heard his name called quite a bit in the Iowa State game, and apparently in all of the games he's been a big deal. So that's somebody to look at that Colorado needs to be aware of. I'm pretty sure they are in their scouting. But in the last game, he had 9 tackles, 2 sacks. Jacob Rodriguez. So I'm pretty sure Colorado knows who he is. And kick returns, Jacoby Williams, he had 4 receptions for 85. So bottom line is this: Colorado um, cannot take Iowa State for, Texas Tech for granted. They're gonna have to be ready on defense. They're gonna have to be ready on offense. And if they play the game like they are capable of playing, I do see um, Colorado getting the dub against Texas Tech. So it's going to be a very intriguing game. Look forward to the outcome. So let me give you my prediction. My prediction in this game is Colorado getting the dub. Colorado getting the dub. Let me see the predicted score. The predicted score. The predicted score. So I'm gonna say Colorado 34. Texas Tech. See, I'm gonna say 34. Let me see. I'm sorry, guys. For a moment. I'm gonna say 34 to I'm gonna say 26. 34 to 26. Colorado defeats Texas Tech on tomorrow afternoon. Final score 34 Colorado, 26 Texas Tech. That is my prediction. That's my final answer. All right, so college basketball. Let's move to college basketball really quick. I mentioned Colorado's my prediction for Colorado and the Texas Tech game. I just want to give. I do want to give a shout out to Pat Shermer, the offensive coordinator, is doing a great job mixing things up in the offense. Even with the run game, they're not so plain Jane. They doing motions and different things like that. It just looks it just like the offense flows a whole lot better this year. So shout out to Pat Shermer, shout out to Rob Livingston, the defensive coordinator who's doing a phenomenal job, and all of the defensive coaches, the defensive line coach, the defensive tackles coach, all of the coaches on the defense. Shout out to them. All the coaches on the offense. Shout out to them as well. Shout out to Coach Prime, who's doing as people didn't think that he could coach because he came from Jackson State, and they were thinking that okay, well he's coming from Jackson State. Now let's see if he can coach in at this level. Well, I believe he's proven that he can coach at this level as well. So shout out to Coach Prime as well. And just I just think that this team is just better um, defensively than they were last year, and they look better because they're running the ball better this year than they did last year. So just wanted to give some shout outs to the Colorado football team. Now on to college basketball, the Duke Blue Devils. Duke Blue Devils. College basketball is in session. I'm a huge college basketball fan, as I mentioned before. I don't know if you guys, if anybody is a college basketball fan on here. I do appreciate joining in. Keep the lights up. Keep the lights up. Keep the lights up. Yeah, I'm a big fan, JB, of the Commanders. Absolutely, I'm a big fan of the Commanders. All right, so let's talk a little bit of Duke basketball. Duke basketball is in session. They have a game against the Army, West Point Army. That's Coach K's alma mater. That's where he went to, and that's where he coached. Before he started coaching at Duke many years ago in the early '80s. I wasn't a Duke fan then. I didn't become a Duke fan till the '91, '92 back-to-back championships that Duke won in those years, those 2 years. I used to actually, I was a NC State fan at one time. I was a Maryland fan when Maryland was a part of ACC at one time. Um, but now I'm a huge Duke basketball fan. Shout out to the Duke football. They've done a great job for the first year. The new coach, forgive me, Randy. Oh man, forgive me, I forgot his name. His name's on the tip of my tongue, but I think he's done a great job as well. And so shout out to the Duke football team as well. So Duke have a game tonight at 6 o'clock. And matter of fact, in about 15 minutes or so, they'll be get throwing up the ball. But they have a game against Army. They had a game against Maine, their first official game against Maine. They have a couple of freshmen, Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple, that had some great start of their season as freshmen. Con, I believe, had 22 points. Cooper Flag had 18 points. Um, and then I don't have all of the stats broken down for that game, but I do remember those two um, of their stats and everything. They had some other things, recent certain amount of rebounds and assists as well. But those two look like they're going to be really good for Duke. Um, I do want to give a shout out to um, Caleb Foster, Tyrese Proctor. Want to give a shout out to the other guys, the transfers, Mason Gillis, Sion James, uh, um, man, Mark Brown. I know his last name is Brown. Came out of Syracuse. Shout out to him. Shout out to Isaiah Evans. Shout out to Darren Harris. Uh, they got into the game too. And who else? Maybe another one or two more people was able to get into that game because Duke beat Maine by like 30 something points. I think it was like 96-47, I believe, something like that. Um, I believe I'm gonna give my prediction for this game. I believe they will get the dub against Army. Um, it's not gonna be, they need to, not take anybody for granted, which I don't think they will. But I believe that Duke will win. The score, uh, uh, 86-57. I must say 86-57. I'm predicting the score for the Duke game against Army at 6 p.m. tonight on ACC Network. And so I'm excited. I'm excited for this Duke team. Oh, Kaman Malawach as well. Shout out to him. He's the other freshman, uh, big guy that I believe is going to be very vital for this Duke team. And I like what I see thus far for this Duke team. And so taking a game at a time. They have some really good, tough games up and coming after this Army game. They're getting ready to play uh, Kentucky. They're going to be playing Kansas. They're going to be playing Arizona. And those are close games, up and coming games, and we will see really where this team stack up against the top 25 teams. All of those teams are top 25. Kansas top 20. Kansas, I think, is actually number one. Um, but Kansas and North Carolina play tonight. So that's going to be an interesting game to see who gets that dub. So depending on if Kansas win or not, they may stay at the top or they may fall a little bit. But again, with these preseason rankings, it's really too early, but they have to do it. Fans like it. People look forward to it. People something for people to talk about. So and so is ranked this. So and so is ranked this. Well, I think so and so should have been ranked this. Even when it comes to Duke, they're ranked number 7 right now. I really don't care because it's too early. I just think it's too early. Sometimes they might be ranked 2, and sometimes I don't like that because it's like they haven't done anything yet. you know. So that's just the way I look at it. But anyway, I think this is going to be a good game for Duke. I believe they will get the win when it's all said and done. I think they have too much talent, too much size for Army when it's all said and done. Um, and I think Duke wins around like 86 to 57, somewhere around in there, um, something like that. So, but anyway, so I talked about Colorado going up against Texas Tech on tomorrow at 4 p.m. An afternoon game for a change. And so that should be a good one. Duke, Army, and also North Carolina and Kansas on tonight too. College basketball going up against each other. So some early top 10 teams playing against each other already. So makes the excitement of college basketball is here and it's exciting. College football is coming to the end, but there's some very important games for the Buffs. If they can continue to win out, if they can continue to win, they might find themselves in a conference championship, and that would be phenomenal for a second year coach. This is Coach Prime's only second year. For a second year coach to take a team that 2 years ago went 1-11, a team 2 years ago that went 1-11, I think he would deserve it to get Coach of the Year. If they make it to the conference title game, and especially if they win the game and qualify for the college playoffs, he, no doubt about it, should get Coach of the Year. That's me. That's my opinion. But I'm just telling you. This is just his second year at Colorado. They made it to a bowl, but they want to keep on winning and see what happens from here. So thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me on this live. I will be doing some more lives, but thank you for joining me on this live. Let me make sure there's somebody I did not acknowledge. Uh, Liddy, thank you. Um, Edson MDK, thank you for joining. And JB, thank you for joining. All right. I hope everyone have a blessed one. Have a great one. Blessings.